Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about lung issues, specifically pneumonia and pulmonary edema in the lungs, and the best way to eliminate that issue naturally. So pneumonia, and I have lots of notes here because I don't want to get off too far, and I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice, okay? Pneumonia has three major causes, which are bacteria, fungus, or fungi. Now, there are ways to eliminate that naturally from the lungs. And pulmonary edema is heart disease, lung damage, or high altitudes, probably for too long a time, and you're not getting enough oxygen into the body. And that can cause all kinds of issues throughout the body. So, heart being one of those, damaging the lungs from not getting enough oxygen in. And so, we're going to go over some drinks here that you can do. Then we'll get into the breath work and the Qigong, because that will do a lot also, because the body's not moving. The lymphatic system is stagnant. And all these acids in the lung, as they grow, they start to cover more areas. And when the cell is in trouble, it's leaking water. So you have to be careful how much fluid you're drinking also, because you already have a lot of fluid in your lungs. But these specific drinks will help pull the mucus out so that you get more oxygen, and as you get more oxygen, then your body will start to regenerate itself. So the first drink is 1 cup of water. These are all 1 cup of water. They're not the same, but they're kind of the same, okay? And I'll explain that in a minute. So this will eliminate mucus, all right? And these are fairly inexpensive to make too. So like I said, 1 cup of water, half a teaspoon of ground thyme, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw honey, or a natural sweetener, which I would prefer dark maple syrup if you don't want to use honey. But it's up to you, whatever you want to use. Okay? Once you have these, or this particular one made, this is going to happen with all of them, but once you have that made, and it's hot, because you boil the water, right? And you hold it under your nose, and as you breathe this in, you'll feel your pathways start to open, because it's eliminating a lot of the stuff that's keeping you from breathing, and that will go right down into the lungs to help reduce the mucus, reduce and or eliminate. Now, it's not going to happen in as far as like your body's in trouble, so it's going to take a minute. Well, when I say a minute, it could take a month. It depends on where you are in the process. But you should do 1 to 2 cups a day until everything is clear. Whether that takes a week, a month, a year, that's up to you. I don't think it would take a year, especially if you're doing the breath work with it. The next drink that we're going to do is thyme, which would be half a teaspoon. Ginger, I'd follow the same as up here. 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Take a half a lemon, or a 1/4 of a lemon, probably better. 1/4 lemon, squeeze it into the drink after it's already been made. You might let it cool down just a little bit, because the lemon has enzymes and electrolytes in it. and we don't want to damage anything that's in that lemon. We want that to get into the lungs and clean. Okay? And eucalyptus. So thyme, ginger, eucalyptus, that's in the tea. And then as it cools, squeeze a quarter of a lemon in it. And the sweetener that you would use would be to taste. The next one, cleavers, lemon, hawthorn. So hawthorn is a very powerful herb, just like the thyme is, and cleavers helps open the lymphatic pathways so that things can get moving in the body. And again, quarter of a lemon, squeeze it in, sweetener of your choice. As long as it's natural, that would be the best. I thought I had, oh, that was 3. Okay. That was 3 drinks. That's what I had worked out here, was 3. There are other herbs that we can use, but that's probably, if you can work with these 3 drinks, I think you'll do well. And the first one that I listed, that's probably, I don't know if it's the best one, but they're all good. They're all good, trust me. So, another way to get fluids out of the lungs is to take a pillow, just a small one, and put it under your head. And then take 2 or 3 pillows and put them under your hips. So your hips are higher than your chest, okay? And your head has support. That's important that your head has support, okay? Lie on your side with your chest lower than your hips. Then breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, because your mouth is 70% of your detox. And there's a big issue right here, and it will help clear it as you breathe. So you want to make sure that you do that. So after 5 or 10 minutes of being on one side and doing this breath, you might want to take a break, or you can just roll over and do the other side. Let's see. Okay. I have these, I think I have these. If I don't, I'm going to put them in the description. All this stuff is in the description. So there are 2 things here, vitamin E, and I don't even know how to pronounce that, but it reduces damage in scar tissue in the lungs. You take 300 milligrams 3 times a day. And this is a very special type of vitamin E. And there's another one down here. It helps heal the cells in the lungs. So those are important. And I'll have that in the description. If it's not there now, it will be. So to walk every day is important. To keep your lymphatic gates open is important. So to rub the thumb like this, okay, this will help heal your lungs. This runs right up through, right to your lungs, each side. And so that's important to do as often as you remember, okay? Put a note somewhere, so every time something goes by, you're rubbing your thumb. And each finger has its own thing here. So the index finger is the digestive system. So you would just rub your index finger, okay? You want to do both hands. And, you know, you want to rub that for 2 or 3 minutes anyway, okay? The middle finger is insomnia and anxiety. So again, you just rub that middle finger like this, and it'll get rid of insomnia and anxiety. The ring finger, headaches and migraines. I know we're talking about lungs here, but I just thought I'd go through this. Because if you're having lung issues, you could be having all these other issues as well. And the little finger, which is an important one, is the heart and the small intestine. So, I'm going to set this down now. I think I've got everything there. Vitamin D3 and K2 is important also. So we're going to open the 6 lymphatic gates here. And, oh yeah, we want to start with gate 1. I went right into gate 3 there. Sorry about that. So gate 1 is right here above the collarbone and a little bit below the collarbone. So I'd use my hand like this, put one finger on the collarbone above and one below, and I just rub it back and forth, and I do 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and then the other side. This is gate 1 of the lymphatic gates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So everything from your toes has to come all the way up through here. So if you're having trouble with your lungs, we want to get to gate 3. That's why I happen to get on that first. You want to open gate 2. This is the largest lymph node in the neck. And the blood that goes into the brain and from the brain comes right down past this lymph node. And your vagus nerve also comes back down through here. And it goes down and it goes into your stomach. And this is rest, digest, and heal. It's also called the parasympathetic, which is also fight or flight. We want to stay in rest, digest, and heal. A lot of times when we're sick, we get afraid, and that fear causes more of the blood to go to the limbs, because we don't know if we're going to run, fight, hide, freeze, what we're going to do, right? So the way to pull that blood back into the core is through your breath, which is inhaling through the nose. This is where the energy enters the body, right here. If you're mouth breathing, you're not getting that. So through the nose. Nice, long, deep breath, gentle, and then exhale. Longer than you inhaled. And that pulls the blood from the limbs back into the core of the body. So you can think correctly. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure goes down, and the nitric oxide created from breathing through the nose relaxes the heart and the arteries and the veins. So as the diaphragm drops, this is why it helps with the blood pressure. If you're a mouth breather, this is why your blood pressure might be high, okay? If you're breathing through your mouth, you're breathing up here and you're not really involving the diaphragm very much. So you want to make sure that you get that diaphragm to drop, and that's breathing through the nose. And if you want to, you can put your hands on your lower rib cage. You want to watch your rib cage open and close, okay? So let's do, we did gate 2, I think only on one side though. So right here, that little notch right behind your earlobe, just above your jawbone, okay? We pull down on that 9 times, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then down the neck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we'll do this one. I don't think I did it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then down the neck, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Doesn't matter which hand you use. For me, it's more comfortable for me to do this than to try to do it with this hand. So it's all about your body and how you move, not how I move. Okay? That was gate 2. Gate 3 is right here. And if this area backs up, it backs up into the lungs. It backs up into the chest. And breast cancers and all kinds of things can come out of this. And you want to make sure that these gates are open. It's got to go from here to here. So we'll work this gate straight where the shoulder rolls into the chest plate. And then under the arm. All these lymph nodes in here, your armpit should be almost like it's hollow. If it's flat or it's puffy, that's not a good thing. You need to get that lymph out of there because it's backing up in the house. Okay, so another thing I like to do, which is not part of this gate, but put your fingers between your ribs and push out and get that toxicity out of there so that it can flow up through into gate 1. And tap on your sternum. This helps loosen up any mucus that's behind here. It has a tendency to build there. All right, so do this side. Need these gates open. When they get closed, all kinds of things happen, and there's only 6. So once you learn this, it'll be extremely important. So again, we go under here and you do the lower rib. I didn't do it on this side. I'll go back and get it. As long as you go along and get them, that's what matters. Okay, and across the chest, pushing it out, and again the sternum, rubbing, tapping. All right, gate 4 under the solar plexus. Okay, and we want the hands on the ribs. Inhale, and see those hands move, and exhale. If they don't move, it just means that your ribs are kind of stuck and you can't get a full breath. And if you're having lung issues where there's fluid in the lung, it's even harder to breathe. But just do the best you can. That's all you have to do, is you keep what's there oxygenated, because as the oxygen is depleted from those areas, those cells, the mitochondria, get sick and the cell gets weak, and then all of a sudden it starts leaking and all this fluid starts coming into the lungs. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just out here showing you the things that you can do to help your body heal. So when we inhale and we exhale through the mouth, then we go right down, right around the belly button. This is what gave you life. There's all kinds of arteries, or there's all kinds of veins and nerves right here. It built your whole body right through this spot. And now to maintain our body is through this spot. Two-thirds of our fluid is right here. So we need to keep that moving. And then tap. This tapping sends little vibrations through it and helps break up tissue. Because the tissue is the issue. I don't care if it's pneumonia, I don't care what it is. If there's edema anywhere in your body, it's the tissue, the cells, is the issue. So we need to keep those moving. Okay, gate 6 is gate 5 is the groin. So gate 5, and we use a knife edge here, and then we use the palm of our hands on the inside of our thighs. So we just start. I don't care how old you are, all tissue must move in the body. Because if it doesn't move, chances are it's going to get stagnant. And if it gets stagnant, it is a slow, painful death. All inflammation is in the lymphatic system. And right now we're opening the lymphatic gates. Gate 6 is behind the knees. There's a pump right here. And when the blood and the lymph comes up, it comes in this way and floods through the knee. So if you have sore knees, arthritis, whatever, that is important to understand, because this is blocked most likely, and the blood and the lymph can't get in here, and it's dying of thirst, malnutrition, and hydration, oxygen. It has to come up through. It has to be able to get through that gate to get in to service everything. So we just rub up and down, right on the top of that calf, right behind the knee. And then we tap. Then we do the other side. Because the lymph, even though it's all through the body, there's a left and right part. Okay? This side doesn't know this side exists, and this side doesn't know this side exists, which is why you have a life-threatening disease on one side of your body and not the other. And it's the lymph. because it can be swollen on this side and not on this one. So these are important things to remember. So we're going to massage the thumb. You can do the sides, the top, the bottom. Sides, I think, are probably more important. These are meridians that run up through. This goes right to your lungs. Then you might as well just rub them all while we're right here. Little finger is heart, remember that. And you want to do it a lot longer than I am right here. Another thing you can do is, so you open your fingers like this and you push in between. You're activating things in the body when you do this. We'll do thumbs and we'll go right back the other way. Clapping the edge of your hand right here, tapping that. Then we go on top. And then we go wrist. That would be this way. And this way. And then like so. And like so. And we can continue tapping right up through, because this has to do with sinuses. You take a deep breath through your nose right now, and then you do what I'm doing right here, you'll find it's much easier to take a deep breath, because this opens the sinuses. And what does that do? It moves things. And that's what we're trying to do. We're moving things in the body. They are stuck, and we manually are going in and getting them to move. So let's we'll do hands. Hello. Do hands.
Okay.
Wrists. All these are important. Elbows. Right into shoulders. Okay, then we're going to do a swing. This is really important if you're having lung issues. I'm lifting my heel on this leg and then on this leg. So as I swing, I lift. Moving every joint in the body. It doesn't take a lot of energy. That's the one thing about Qigong. It builds more energy than it burns. Very few things do that. The hips are like a bowl, and we pretend there's a ball in there. When we move our hips, we try not to move our shoulders, and we move them in a circle where we're pulling them up in the front and pushing it back in the back, and then side to side. And then we go in the other direction. All right. I'm going to get the ones really important for lungs here in a minute. And I'll tell you why it's important, which I've done in other videos, but we'll go over it again. All right, so we can do the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9. Okay? There's 3 lymphatic pumps, major ones. Moving our body is a lymphatic pump, but 3 major ones. The diaphragm, as it lowers, it's massaging all the organs and glands, moving all this fluid. Helps the heart relax. And then when you exhale, it comes back up and it helps pump the blood. Some people believe this is the pump, that the heart is just a vortex. And as the blood goes through, the plasma hits it and sparks it. Then it makes it move. So Who knows? Who cares? As long as that baby's beating and your diaphragm's going up and down, that's what matters. Okay? Balls of the feet are the other pumps. And so we just roll our foot like this, right on the ball of the foot, and we're moving our ankle, we're moving all our toes, tendons, everything in there. And then we go in the other direction. And then the other foot. Then the other direction. All right. This is the important one for the lungs. Master Shani Lee taught this to a woman who needed a double lung transplant, and she was sent to him because they didn't have lungs for her to see what he could do. Okay? This is the exercise he taught her. Now, she did this for like 45 minutes a day. Now, whether that was all in one 45-minute thing, which I highly doubt, she might have worked her way up to that. But if you do 5 minutes and write it down, and 3 minutes and write it down, and it all adds up to 45, that would be good too. Until you can go 5, 5, 5, 5, and then 10, 10, 10, 10, something like that. Build your way up to it. It took her 3 months. When she went to the doctor, back to the Mayo Clinic, her lungs were perfect. No scar tissue, no nothing. So if you do these drinks and you want your lungs to be in good shape, do your breath work, do your movements, keep the gates open, and you will thrive. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend there's a ball under our chin. And we're going to pull it up. This is the inhale through the nose. And we pretend there's a string on top of our head, and we drop our shoulders and we try to pick our head up as far as we can. And we exhale through the mouth, and we do that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And you do the best you can. But this is extremely important. Now remember, she needed a double lung transplant. So she wasn't the best at it when she started, I'm sure. C3, 4, and 5 is in the neck, one on each side. Okay, that's the autonomic nerve that digests your food and makes you breathe and heart beating and all that stuff. You don't even have to think about it. It's all done, right? And what we're doing is we're giving it things to slow it down, to corrupt it, to cause congestion, and then it takes more energy because of the congestion in our body. So our energy lowers, and the lower it goes, the more susceptible we are to things like pneumonia and all kinds of things, all kinds of lung disease. It just happened that it was in her lungs because they were probably weak to begin with, because she was probably a mouth breather, which means she was in fight or flight. So as you do these breaths and you do that long exhale, you're pulling the blood back into the core. That's the key to the whole thing. Because if the blood is out here, it takes blood to make your lungs work, right? It takes blood. Most of your oxygen blood transfer is in the lower part of the lungs. So we're going to do 3 lion's breaths right now. This would be really important too. Because the toxins are heavier than the air, so they settle in the bottom of the lungs. And the more that's in there, the less oxygen you can get in, and the less oxygen is going to the cells, so they start to get weak. So lion's breath is extremely important, just like that neck exercise I showed you. All right? And this will probably be it right here. All right? So we inhale through the nose. We tip our head back and we smile. And when I say lion's breath, exhale, we stick our tongue all the way out. That opens the throat, and we go. Sorry about that, a little phlegm in the back of my throat there. All right. So we're going to do, now, I'd start with 3, and when you feel comfortable, go to 5. And when you feel comfortable with 5, and I know that your breathing is really weak right now, don't worry about that, because you have to start somewhere. So you're going to start where you're at, and you're going to build on that as time goes by. And then you're doing these liquids and just a couple of cups of tea a day, a 16 ounce of the Master Cleanse. I mean, it's incredible what it will do and what it will heal. But you do have to be careful about liquids, okay? And if you feel like you're drinking too many liquids, then I would cut out one, like have 1 cup of tea in the Master Cleanse instead of 2 cups of tea in the Master Cleanse. And that Master Cleanse is only 16 ounces. You can mix 32, dump it in a 16 ounce glass and drink away. Now, forgot what I was going to do. Oh yeah, lion's breath. Here we go. All right. So, we inhale through the nose, head back, smile. And we hold as long as you can. If you can't hold, don't worry about it. And then we stick our tongue out, lion's breath, exhale. Then we just take a break. Get ourselves balanced again. And I know it's going to be hard for you, but this is the way to get that stuff out of there. Inhale through the nose, head back, smile. This releases endorphins and dopamines. Makes your cells really happy. Lion's breath, exhale. All right, inhale through the nose, head back, smile. If you need to take a longer break, take it. Lion's breath, exhale. Remember, we start where we're at, okay? This is lungs, this is heart. This is the movement. We pretend there's a ball there. And we exhale, out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And start making those herbal teas. I mean, it's amazing. And if you get a hold of Tony Wheel, she has herbs from Dr. Morse, which are amazing and fantastic. So you might want to go that route. Fruits, berries, and melons would help a lot, especially if they're tree ripened. If you can't get tree ripened, you'll have to talk to Tony about that. She's the one that handles all that stuff. So I appreciate everybody joining me and watching. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Graham. I don't know who else is on here. I guess I can. Tallulah, Karen, Rosalie, Susan, Kiki, Dawn, Elaine, Donna, and Bruce. Okay, I don't know if there was more on there or not, but remember, we are the masters of our body, not the victims. Epigenetics puts us above the gene, and that's scientifically proven. Bruce Lipton, look it up if you want to learn more about it. Epigenetics, it's amazing. And he was a teacher in the medical system. He had to quit after he discovered that we're not victims of our genes. It's the environment that gene is in that corrupts it. It's like a blueprint. But he can explain it much better than I can. He was also one of the original researchers on stem cells. And you know what's cool? You know what that does? It brings stem cells to the area if there's any damage there. Our bodies produce stem cells. We're just told that we can't do all this stuff, and it's not true. This is a tuning fork. And the blood, most of the blood has to be in here for it to function properly. And if it's not there, we're going to have issues. Okay? So I love you guys. Be strong. Be safe. Even if you don't have lung issues, these drinks are amazing. All right? So dig into it, and I'll see you in the next video.